Super happy to be here. This is going to be one of many CEO addresses. We'll do it every single month. I'm really excited for this to be the first one in the kickoff. Today, what I really want to do is I want to talk about a few things. When I took over as CEO, I created a 120-day plan. I want to share that 120-day plan with you guys, or at least parts of it. Some of it you will have been feeling right now, some of the changes in the organization. But I want to break that 120-day plan down for you and help you understand where we are and how everything that we're doing now ultimately pulls back to the vision of the company. As we all know, the vision of the company is really to create financial freedom for everyone that chooses to be involved through a participation marketplace, and to really share the profits and the revenue of the organization with all the members and the charter members of the organization. I'm going to go through that, really break it down into four major categories. That's corporate structure, what that means from a corporate structure perspective. I want to share some really key role changes within the organization, the shift in the executive leadership of the organization, talk about strategy, and what it means for the corporate strategy to be broken down into the departmental strategies. And I'm really going to get to the meat of this thing around, when I say strategy, what does that actually mean for the charter members, and what does that mean for the acceleration of the organization? Then talk a bit about culture and methodology. As Dave and the rest of the team have got to realize over the last, let's call it 30 days of me sitting in the seat, is I am an efficiency nut. I want things executed on. I want the things in a controlled way. And so I want to talk a bit about that with you guys today. And then really some of the changes that you're feeling around the focus on getting hyper-focused on being excellent in the areas that we're working on, and to drive some of the peripheral noise out of this system, and through that focus to drive a culture of excellence in the company. And I want to talk about how you probably feel that today, and also how you'll continue to feel that over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. So starting there, as I said, vision, financial freedom for everyone through the participation marketplace. It's really about giving people an environment where they can come in, and whatever that means to them from a financial freedom perspective, to allow them to achieve that financial freedom through savings and earnings. And I've shared this with some people recently, and I believe that we're in a position where the philosophies of the organization are really going to create a huge shift in the direct sales environment, and that it's really, for me, about disrupting an industry, multiple industries, for the positive. I believe, as I've got to know the network marketing space, that in reality, it's one of the greatest distribution models on the planet. It really is about the people. And that's really what we were driving for as an organization. It's about the masses. It's about pushing the purchasing power out to the masses, letting them earn off of their networks, and then taking that purchasing power and driving into big brands to create additional savings. So now, with that vision being set as a landscape, let's talk about some of the things that you've seen, starting with the corporate structure. Over the course of the last 30 days, we've been shifting people. So I want to make those announcements today for everyone that's on the call. You will see that Richard Smith has stepped away from the president role. He's going to be involved in the organization, really focused on helping the charter members from an evangelistic point of view, helping the charter members grow their teams, and really focusing on the success of every single charter member, but stepping out of the president role. In order to set the organization up for the next phases of the company, to really create some structure in that executive team, I brought in a former CFO that I've done business with in the past, and his entire financial organization. His name is Neil. You'll learn more about him and his team later. But just to give you some quick pieces of information on him. He's currently the founder and managing director of Aventus. He's been the COO and CFO of multiple public companies that are currently and were listed on NASDAQ. He's managed through multiple M&A activity in the public space. meaning mergers and acquisitions. He's also sold large portions of organizations in the public space. He's taken companies public and then taken them back private multiple times. He really is best in breed in the space. And it's not just him, he's bringing his entire organization with him, the financial firepower of Aventus, which really creates a lot of bandwidth and intellectual firepower in the organization. So I'm super excited to have him and his team aboard, and you'll learn more about them as well. Troy Muhlstein, the co-founder, is going to be moving out of the current CFO role and moving into a chief commercial officer role. That is really to focus on the direct sales compensation piece, helping commercialize some of the products in a more robust way for the field, and creating a push and pull between the CFO organization and the commercial officer role. So Troy will in that role will really be heavily involved in ensuring that we're driving the most benefit as possible into charter members and and then ultimately creating earnings and savings potential through those commercial structures. Roger Taylor, co-founder, will maintain the CMO role, but we're bringing an agency, a wide marketing agency underneath that CMO role to really create firepower for not only the organization, but the charter members as well. So what that means is over the course of the next, 60, 90 days, you're going to see big initiatives coming out of the marketing department to not only from a corporate perspective, but also to support the charter members with tools and things like that. Kevin Wiscombe, one of the other co-founders, will be taking a VP of business development with the sole responsibility of going out and building the product base around the new product strategy, which I'll talk about in a second. But so Kevin is going to be taking a VP of business development role, not so much focused on the operationalizing of the products anymore, but really focusing on creating depth in the products that we have out there, internationally and domestically. Dave has been promoted, reporting directly into me now as Executive Vice President of what we're calling sales, but it really is field relations and working with the field and helping grow the organization, making sure that he is doing everything he can for the charter members from a communication perspective, and really leading that charge to be your voice internally, as well as to be the voice of the organization to all the charter members. That's part of the reason for this forum. Dave is starting to drive structure around communication, setting up various communication forums, committees to help drive strategic decisions in the organization through charter member committees, making sure that we're having regional updates, all of those things. So I just want to say, since he is on the call, I want to congratulate Dave again in front of everyone. I couldn't be happier with what he's done over the last 60 to 90 days in the last year, and really excited to be working with him more closely in his new role as Executive Vice President. Brought in a new customer service lead who starts this week to create additional bandwidth in the customer service team. Luke will be stepping fully into his role as head of international expansion, as well as holding a business excellence role that allows us to do more streamlined, quicker projects in the organization to, again, drive additional benefit for our charter member base. So guys, I don't think I missed anything. Johnson, who was currently managing the development and technology team anyway, but not in a formal capacity. I was overseeing that technology. Johnson has been promoted now to head of technology and has hired additional resources onto his team. So again, creating more firepower within that team as well to speed up execution. So part of my first 120 days was really to create a structure at the executive level and down that allowed us to really take the next step as an organization. That structure is now in place, and you will start to see initiatives being driven by those key people very heavily in their areas. Again, one of the things that specifically for the charter members that I've tasked Dave with is communication forums, and really creating a culture of visibility within the charter members. Not only do I want you guys to be hearing from me and the rest of the team more often, I also want to be hearing from you in a structured way so that we can deliver on expectations. So that is on the executive side. We have set up a formal advisory board made up of people from outside of the industry and inside the industry, but really thought leaders in various industries. I'm going to give you background on one of them. His name is Gary Bender. You'll understand as I give you his background why this advisory board is important to us. They are going to be the thought leadership, the innovators. Their entire job is to drive forward suggestions and initiatives to the organization's board and executive team so we continue to innovate and be thought leaders and disrupt markets. So Gary Bender is currently the CEO and founder of Carneros Bay. Carneros Bay's unique blend of advisor, incubator, accelerator, investor, partner to incubate financial institutions and emerging fintech companies. As of 2020, Carneros has partnerships with over 20 fintech companies and banks/financial services companies. Some of the larger customers and clients that Carneros Bay currently works with is MasterCard, Wells Fargo, Square, TD Bank, and BBVA. Prior to Carneros Bay, Gary was the Senior Vice President and Head of Intellectual Property and Industry Partnerships at Visa. Gary's background and experience comes from 15 years of management consulting at firms such as Anderson and Ernst and Young, where he became the practice leader in North America and Europe for IP and partnership services. Gary's passions now really reside in relationships and partnerships to drive innovation and progression in the financial services and fintech space. So having Gary on board is huge firepower for our organization in the financial space, which you'll see some things coming out over the next month to 2 months in that arena that Gary has had a hand in. That advisory board will continue to build and will continue to bring additional thought leaders in different industries aboard as we break into different market segments. So that's it on the structure side, and I'm going to speed up a bit here because I don't want to waste too much time of everyone's time. So speeding up here, I talked a bit about strategy and what that means. So we really wanted to look at the corporate strategy and vision and drive that down into specific departmental strategies to really help the organization. When I look at marketing, key initiatives being driven around marketing is about increased visibility, additional tools, the communication as a whole, and that is really, for me, the core strategy within marketing is how do we create additional tools, how do we improve communication, and also how do we look at the branding of an organization of the organization from as we roll out additional products, how do we make sure that that is adding to the brand and not distracting from the brand? What I mean by that is no single product should be greater than the overall vision. So we need to be smart about how we market each one of the products and put the tools in the charter members' hands to help them be successful with the products and various things without distracting from the overall vision and brand. So Dave driving the support of the charter members and really looking at, and I'm sure some of the people he's been working with have felt some of this already, doing things like reaching down and ensuring that people are getting their 3, helping those people get their 3, looking at support groups from additional learning, again, additional tools to help the charter members be successful. So Dave's really driving all those initiatives. Now on the product side, the product strategy of the organization, lot of detailed conversations about, hey, we have a lot of breadth and offerings to the charter members and fans as they come in, but how do we begin to really create an engagement culture around those products and also allow charter members to have something that they can stand on that allows them to go out and build their businesses? So we've done a really good job so far of building breadth. At this point in the global mall, you can get just about anything you want. If you go in, you can find anything you need from a product perspective. But now it's about picking a few areas and driving super deep to say, hey, I can guarantee you that you will not find this cheaper anyplace else, that you will not be able to earn on this anyplace else. You know, it's a couple of verticals where you drive super deep and become the best in breed, right? Again, back to that focus. The other thing is to look at products that we can point to competitors in the space and say, here's a competitor that has a product, ours is better, it's cheaper, and because of the way our compensation plan is structured, you earn more money on it. And so we want to start to look at the competitive landscape and give charter members the power to go out and say, we not only have all this breadth, but in these specific areas, we are better than anybody in the world, that we have greater depth. And also we can look at competitors and tell our charter members, here's a specific product where here's a direct competitor, we are better, we are cheaper, and there's greater earning potential. So again, hyper focus around the product verticals as well, which will allow us to have wins for the charter members and as an organization a lot faster with that greater focus. It's really about excellence. It's about being a process-driven organization with controls in place, and driving operational excellence. Some of the things that we've been looking at about paying, commissions on the global mall and all of those things, you'll see those that start to happen here by the end of the week. And then you'll start seeing release plans from a technology perspective coming out of Johnson, so that it becomes this constant improvement methodology we've talked about, but that starts happening in practice, so that you feel the improvements every 2 weeks. You can count on them. You can count on the progress, either from a new product, better visibility in the back office. You saw one recently where we changed how people were displayed. So that real idea of operational excellence and practicing constant improvement and allowing the charter members to feel that constant improvement. We are going to become the most efficient company on the planet. You will see this kind of just-in-time methodology starting to happen within the way we release things. And that will accelerate the things that we were able to produce and give to the charter members and their fans on a regular basis. So there's a lot in there, guys, but this is where I want to leave it. Is we have this vision of creating financial freedom for everyone. We have this enormous idea in front of us that we can change multiple industries, and we can allow this massive change in the macroeconomics of the globe. And now we've said it's time to take the first year that has been incredible, and now evolve the company to where we are executing towards the big grand plan in a structured and controlled way, and start to really drive efficiencies and constant improvement that people can feel in a tangible way, right? So the public side is progressing. There'll be a formal update coming out here by the end of the week. Obviously, anybody who's familiar with the public markets, it's heavily regulated, and we need to pass any announcement that we do past our SEC attorneys to make sure we are giving proper information and we're not violating any SEC regulations. So we have sent the update we want to get out to everyone, to SEC attorneys. They're double checking it to make sure that we are within regulations, and that'll be coming out by the end of the week, which will put more framework around what it means to get Power 10 and earn the stock in the organization. So that'll be coming out. As far as how it's progressing faster than we thought it was going to, we thought COVID was going to slow us down quite a bit, but it did not. We will be ready to make the announcement when it's the right time in the marketplace. Obviously, we'll be ready to make the formal announcement before we actually do, because it's about timing the market, and that's more benefit to the charter members if we time it properly.
So Trent, obviously you're using some words that people are wondering what the heck they are. So will you explain to everybody what FinTech is?
FinTech is financial technology. So it's the software landscape around what drives banks, financial operations within companies. So accounts payable, accounts receivable, payment technology. It's really the not to use another word, but the treasury services of the banking environment and the technology around that. You asked me about the bank. We are hot and heavy.
Yes.
Obviously, you saw the advisory board member join. There's a specific reason why he joined. I have about a 7-year history with Gary. He is an incredible human being. And not only an incredible human being, but he has the executive firepower from that space to get to make things accelerate. So we are using and abusing him right now to accelerate the things on the banking side for us. I am on calls every other day with him, Troy, and I to make sure we're driving it forward. I want to be clear about what this bank means, though, to everyone and where we are focusing. Again, I'm a guy who believes in clarity and visibility. The bank is one thing we are doing. Again, we will never allow one product to cannibalize the overall vision of the company. It is strategically important to us, not only for the things that the charter members see today that we want to roll out, but also things that we have planned for the future. But again, we will never allow it to cannibalize the broader vision of the organization, right? The launch of the bank in 2020 is focused on domestic. So that means the US. And then we will slowly roll out additional countries following that domestic launch. When I started working with Gary and brought him onto the team, he said, Trent, don't boil the ocean. You'll actually end up going slower if you try to launch the entire world at the same time than if you just launch domestically and then launch each country afterwards in a systematic way. It'll actually end up taking longer if you try to do it all at once. So that's kind of the update on the bank. We are moving quick. I also saw something asking about the Rev card. Again, let's create separation between hardware and the bank and the software. That hardware, the Rev card that we looked at, and we did get a demo product in hand. I had huge questions on whether or not that hardware was ready for market. So we looked at it and said, what are the most important things? That we're treated like an actual bank, and that we have a strong banking network. Number 2, that the initial product allows us to pay on the swipes up to TBS, and that we can look at our charter members and say, we have a great bank, and give them digital access to that via an app on their phone or something of that nature, right? And then we'll start taking bites of the apple on the hardware side. As that technology is stabilized, and we don't, for example, right? You shove that card in your pocket, and the way it was currently built, and you throw it through the washer, well, there goes your card, right? You sit on it and it snaps the screen. There goes your card, right? So that those problems can be solved, but in its current form, we will never do anything to damage our charter members' purchases or their reputation. And we said, looking at this hardware, I am not comfortable pushing this into our network right now. This opportunity is amazing. I've never been more excited about an opportunity in my entire career. I believe that we have the ability to make huge philosophical shifts in very large industries and on a very large scale. And that opportunity is now, and it's real. If you look at what's currently there, there is a huge opportunity there, and the opportunity is only going to get greater. With the compensation plan, with the products and services that are currently live, the opportunity is awesome, and we will continue to grow that opportunity. We have one. I won't. It's not about the future so much. It's what's there right now, and then rolling things out, constantly improving, just to continue to stay ahead on the innovation side. So I can't say there's lots of things that are going to be rolling out here in the next 60 to 90 days. We have release schedule. Again, part of the control methodology to me is 2-week releases. Every 2 weeks release something that is improving the company. And that may be a product, that may be increased visibility, that might be an additional tool, but every 2 weeks to be releasing something that's creating improvement in the company, right? So just want to keep your focus on the opportunities here. It's now, and every time we release 2 weeks, it's just going to add to the organization and not distract from it.